This definitely does not happen to every missionary, but my most dangerous experience was that with a disease. This is the Amazon. You know, if you're not careful, there's some weird things that happen along the Amazon, but I got flesh-eating bacteria within my foot, and which was a very excruciatingly painful experience. And at one point I was almost going to have to lose my foot because of this flesh-eating bacteria, but I was able to get to a hospital and they had to perform a very painful surgery on my foot to get it all out. And so that was probably the most dangerous experience that I had, was that with flesh-eating bacteria. So as far as the causes go, the doctors couldn't quite identify exactly what caused me to catch this, but I don't know, I have a few of my own theories. I think part of it was that we were walking so much, and there are no cars, there are no bikes, because if we use bikes, they're just going to get stolen. And so we don't have cars or bikes on the mission, so wherever you go by foot, or if you've got cash on you, then you use the bus. But generally, you're walking. So at one point, we were walking so much that I got a bunch of blisters on my feet, and I think that had to do with it. I had these blisters, and I didn't properly care for them. There are very specific things you're supposed to do if you have blisters on your feet. Use certain ointments or medicines, or put gauze tape on these blisters. There are things to do to avoid what happened to me. Just be honest and clear on that. But I didn't do these things, so I kind of asked for it. And I think part of it too is that you're sweating so much because you're walking around. This is one of the hottest areas within the mission that I was serving in. And I was sweating so much that I think that had to do with it, the combination of sweat and the blisters. Just, you got infected, and then the bacteria was able to start to grow. That makes that happen. And some of the symptoms is a lot of blood. That your blisters open up and they keep opening. They get bigger, basically, and it hurts really bad, and you start to get a fever, a very serious fever. And the pain isn't just in your foot, the pain's all up in your leg. And so everything kind of hurts. And so when one day I was walking around and my feet were hurting, but then my whole leg started hurting, I was like, well, what's going on? Like, I just have some blisters, like that. Nothing new to a missionary. And then as I took my shoe off and pulled my sock off, I found out that I was bleeding. I had bled a ton into my shoe and blood all over my sock, and realized, oh gosh, I need to get this checked out. And I had developed a really serious fever at that point, so I had to go back to the apartment and take it easy. And then the next day I went to the hospital, and they're like, yeah, you're pretty lucky. Like, if you had waited around a lot longer, we might have had to amputate. So it's disgusting. I'm not going to get into the details of what they did to me, but they gave me a shot in a certain region that hurt really bad. And then after that, they just got to work on my foot and basically just had to use metal tools, and they had to get all of the infected flesh out of my foot. And so they had to do that any way possible, and it hurt how they did it. And then after that, they just have to put a lot of medicine in it and make sure everything's sterilized and such. And then, yeah, then I was good. They put a bunch of bandages and told me, you can go home now. So the shot was supposed to make me feel numb, but I don't know what they did, but it didn't work very well. It was actually a really sketchy hospital that I went to because I was in the boonies. And so the hospital, I don't know if the staff really knew exactly what they were doing, but yeah, the idea was to numb up my legs so they could go in and get all the infected flesh out without me feeling anything. It didn't work very well because I sure felt a lot. And basically just use a metal pick to get out all of the infected flesh out of these blisters. And it was painful. It was excruciating. That it was funny at one point because there was a nurse that was helping me, and she was talking with the other elder that was with me, and she was asking about who we are, what we do. And you know, the elder with me, being a good guy, starts talking about the Book of Mormon, what we do as missionaries, and she's like, oh, that's such a beautiful work that you guys do. Would you say it's worth it? Is it worth everything you go through? And I'm sitting there and I'm just like, I'm asking myself that right now. Because it was that bad. And the nurse laughed and the elder laughed. But yeah, so after I got all of the infected flesh taken out, they gave me a bunch of medicine and stuff that I had to keep putting on it. And they told me to stay off my foot for a week. So that was torture. I had to stay in the apartment for a week, not able to go out and do work and teach the people we were teaching. So it was a hard week. It was a long week, but I sure did sleep a lot. I was about 18 months out by that point, so it was some needed sleep.